cheap or expensive? That is the impeller shaft of one of them. That should be just one piece. When it comes to your aquaponics water pump, is it better to go cheap or to spend a bit more money and invest in it right? So let's have a look and see what that means. I've got three main things to tell you, and I've got a bit of a bonus at the end, so keep watching so I can show you how you can make it work. But that's the biggest question, isn't it? Cheap or expensive? What is the difference? Let's get into it, hey? I have two water pumps here, and these are for small aquaponics systems, but it's the same concept for any size aquaponics system, so keep that in mind. On this side, I have a cheap $20 water pump from eBay. On this side, I have a brand name water pump, and they both have the same head height. Now, check out the video above after this one, but check out the other video to talk about how to choose your pumps, because that talks to you about head heights and to make sure that you're going to get the right type of water pump. This video is all about identifying it cheap versus more expensive. So let's get into it, hey. What is more expensive? As I said, this one is $20 off eBay, and I'm going to show you the boxes to go with, and we can see not in English. That might not be a problem for you. Often, as long as it's got the vital information on the back, that can work well, but that can be a problem. So $20 to buy. And just so you are aware, in Australia we have a different connector. See how we've got it came with that type of connector, a bit weird for Australia, and we need a very specialized one. So it has these push on adapter, easily comes off, and it can easily blow, just saying. Bit of a downside there. This one on the other hand is $30. It is brand name, and I'm going to say right now I am not a brand name person. Okay, so for me, I'm okay with going for something that is cheaper as long as it's still good quality, because sometimes you do pay extra for the brand name, but it can be the same product. So this is a brand name, costs $30, and it's the same head height, so the same specs as it were for the cheaper one. Brand name, $30. Does have the right plug, all in one. Awesome for Australia. So the biggest thing here is the cost of running. So I've just said $20 cheap, $30 good quality, right? Let's have a look at the actual running cost of these, because this is the big one. Cheap versus more expensive. Which one's going to cost more to run? Okay, so starting off with the more expensive pump, which is actually on special at the moment for $24. Make sure you check out the other video that talks about how to choose your pump, your water pump, because in this case, I need to have the head height over 1 meter in height. Okay, so to help you understand what that means, go to that other video and check it out. Therefore, I keep wanting to do that. I'm looking at the Maxi 102 and I'm wanting the watts. Whoopsie. And we can see that is 8 watts. All right, now once we know that, we come to our appliance calculator at our local appliance energy company. They will always have some type of energy use calculator. It's 8 watts and it runs 24 hours, 7 days a week, which was 168 hours. So let's click on calculate, and that comes to $20.41 per year to run that more expensive water pump. That's how much it costs per year. Now, a limitation when we go to our cheaper pumps, and this is not the company, so don't sit there and go through that, but I was showing you a cheaper water pump. This is one of them. A problem that they have is that I needed that head height, and again, make sure you do check out that other video on what pump to choose. I need the head height, so the lift height here, to be above 1 meter. So this pump that's 6 watts is not going to work. That means that I need to actually go for the next smallest pump, which has a head height of 1.8 meter, which is, that's fine. But it has a much stronger flow rate than what I'm after. So that means I need to pop a valve on there as well. So it's a little bit of extra plumbing. Not a biggie, but it is something to be aware of. But the biggest thing here is that it's 24 watts to run this. So back to our calculator, and we're going to pop in 24, and you know what's going to happen. Again, we've got the 168 hours per week. Click on calculate, and to run that cheaper water pump that does not have a warranty, nothing else, it costs $61.22 per year to run. Now, this is AU, so make sure that you do look it up yourself as to where you live. But that means that if we think about this more expensive pump, which is currently on sale, so it's almost the same price. Actually, because we are looking at this, let's actually have a look at what the cost would be of this pump should I be choosing it. $24. So in this case, it's actually exactly the same price, $24 to get the right pump for the head height that I need versus $24. So it's actually not that cheap at the moment when we're comparing those things. But the biggest thing is don't just look at the initial price, look at the secondary price, so the running cost. In this case, I needed to get this pump down here, and therefore it's 24 watts, so it's going to cost $40 a year more to run. So it's something to think about when you are considering your pumps. Is cheaper better? And initially that was a cheaper pump, so prices have definitely changed lately. But running it, you can always have a look and see what the costs are going to be. Wasn't that an eye-opener? People often mistake that one, thinking it's cheap and it's going to be great, but it turns out that getting a more expensive one is cheaper to run. So there you go. When we're looking at costs, there's some of the things you need to look at. Check out the description to find some more information about aquaponics and how you can move forward and get this happening. Number two, the parts within the two. So we're keeping in mind that this is the cheap one, this is the expensive one. When you pull them apart, you need to have some type of impeller for any size aquaponic system, any size water pump that has some type of magnetic impeller. So it spins around, right? Spins around. The shaft is generally the weakest link of your actual water pump. And the reason why it needs to make sure that it's actually constantly spinning, because that's what's going to make the water happen. But let me show you something really cool. Well, I'm not going to say cool. It's not really cool. So, remembering this side was the cheaper pump, that is the impeller shaft of one of them. That should be just one piece. The cheaper version. The expensive version is stainless steel. Huge difference. Now, when you have a larger water pump, they will still have ceramic shafts if they're a cheap version, like a cheap type of pump. Ceramic will break. Stainless steel is in the more expensive pumps. You cannot just buy replacement shafts. You have to buy the entire impeller. Depending on the size of the water pump, and this is the same with your aquarium filters as well, that you might actually have to buy that entire impeller section, so that magnetic part that I just showed you, as well as the shaft. And that can be 50 odd bucks, and the pump itself might be 30 odd bucks. So this is a problem, is the actual parts that it's made of don't always work well. Ceramic shafts, they break so easily versus your stainless steel and your more expensive pumps. And that is a very common thing between pumps. Now, the third thing, when you're thinking about the pumps, cheap versus more expensive, so cheap, more expensive, again we're going to go back to the box. Third thing, there's no warranty on the cheap one. The more expensive one has a 3-year warranty. Now, when I bought these, and I have bought these a few times, they last 12 months, if that. 12 months for 20 bucks. Whereas the $30 pump has the warranty of 3 years. So warranties make it much more financially beneficial to actually go for. And it's, whenever you're getting anything electrical, ideally you do actually want to go for something that has a warranty. Now, I know that we live in a consumerist society, and everything these days is becoming more and more disposable, and I don't think that's a good thing. Just because I don't think that's a good thing, I like the whole, let's have quality and let's replace where we can. So for me, something that has that 3-year warranty, which I realise is back to front for you, 3-year warranty is the way I would be going when I'm choosing my water pump. And I go through lots of water pumps because I have 7 aquaponics systems currently running, inside and out. I know, slightly addicted, but I've been doing it for like 15 years. And throughout those 15 years though, I've been watching the water pumps because they vary. And if you don't do the research and comparing them like I'm showing you here today, then you're going to end up having a problem at some point down the track. Now, I know with the more expensive brands that they will last. And if there is a problem, I have the same supplier and I know that they will fix it, they will look at it, they'll investigate, resolve the problem. The cheap ones, they come with the 30-day, if it doesn't work, kind of warranty. That's the stock standard thing. And how many times do you buy something and a week after the warranty, it stops working? Mobile phones are a really good example of this. Once the warranty is over, it doesn't work. So just saying, that is the third thing. Using my aquaponics system as a grow bed as a stand there. Now, I promised you something at the very beginning that I wanted to say how you could make something work a bit better. So remembering, we're going to go back to the point number 2 when we're talking about the ceramic shafts. Now this is something that I have done, trying to get them in my fingers so you can actually see because they're broken. It should be that big, right? That's 10 centimeters. So what's that, 4 inches I think? Yeah, 4. Oh, my math is terrible. My conversion is terrible. I need to see it every time. So one of my aquarium filters, and this is actually a well-known brand, actually uses ceramic shafts. And this is one of the ways they have a cheap water pump. And I say cheap because it kind of is, like, it's very, very affordable. But it's a good brand name. But they also use ceramic shafts in their aquariums, in their aquarium filter. So and every time I've had to replace the shafts, you have to buy the whole packet, so the impeller and everything that goes with it. And it's like 70 odd bucks. When I was able to get a stainless steel rod, 1 meter in length, online. It must be stainless steel because it's always in water and we don't want it to rust and we don't want it to get affected with the magnetic element. Cut it the size, shave it off on the edges to make sure there's no sharp pieces, and I was able to replace the ceramic shaft with a stainless steel shaft that is working like a dream and has been now for a couple of years. The impeller shafts are never covered under warranty. And this is where you know a good product versus a bad product, and it generally is the quality, the type of shaft that's there. So when we have when we have the stainless steel shafts, we know that it's a good brand. Now that's a good brand, but this is actually a money-making thing for them, and it drives a lot of hobbyists like myself, but also the aquarium stores crazy because they have to keep selling something that they know is not globally effective. So this was my solution, was doing the whole stainless steel rod thing, and you have to make sure that you actually get the right size for the ceramic shaft, so you can't just guess. And that's why I'm not telling you what the dimensions are other than the 10 centimeters across. I'm not telling you what the dimensions are on that, because it's going to vary on every aquarium filter and also on your water pump. But if you do go cheap, that is something you can actually do. You can replace the ceramic shaft with a stainless steel one. If you can use a hacksaw and a bit of sandpaper, you've got that sorted. So that's the extra bonus. Now don't forget to check out this other video to identify what type of water pump you need, to understand the head height and is it actually going to make it and work around your whole system.